time for Toss Up. Two men enter, one man leaves, finishes the show, then spends the weekend trying to convince himself that the Harbor Town tournament is right up there with the Masters. What's first?
Toss up more side-worthy start to the season. Shohei Ohtani or Mason Miller?
Okay, I got stats here. Mason Miller has not allowed an earned run in 9 1/3 innings so far. He has only allowed one hit. He already, Mike, has 6 saves. It's mid-April. He has 6 saves. He has faced 30 batters. He has struck out 23. That's amazing. He is Cy Young worthy. But relievers rarely get the Cy. Mike, only once in the last 33 years has a reliever gotten the Cy Young. Mariano Rivera did not get the Cy Young because starters get the Cy Young. Shohei Ohtani is a starter. He's 2-0. His ERA right now is 0.50. He's gone 18 innings, 1 earned, and 18 strikeouts. Do you remember a couple of years ago when he couldn't pitch because he was recovering from Tommy John? And so he said, I'll just hit home runs and steal bases. And he went 54 and 59, which nobody had ever done in that sort of connection. Well, this year, it appears that he's going after a Cy Young. And if he continues like this, he's going to win it. And Mason Miller is going to stand up there and applaud him. He is.
Tony, there's no argument against Mason Miller. And the argument for him is that hitters in their last 29 at-bats are 1 for 29. You mentioned the 23 strikeouts. Come on, this is insane. And relievers are harder to find. There's some franchises that would have won, 3 or 4 World Series in the last 30 years, Chicago Cubs, but they could never find a Mason Miller. Just couldn't do it. But
can I just ask you one question? Just a small interruption here.
What's that?
Relievers are harder to find than starting pitchers who you say don't even start anymore. That you go on. And a starting pitcher who hit 50 home runs?
Yeah, but here's the deal. Starters, you can't. It's not about finding them. Managers and clubs with their stupid statistics, their deathly stats, their metrics will not let these people start and stay in the game a third time through the rotation. You know that's true. I believe there are starters out there. Jeff Passan told us this the other day. There are people who can start and finish games. They don't let them. But what Shohei is doing is beyond all of that.
It is.
Look,
you
talk about a 5-tool player. He only needs 2 tools, hit and pitch. And only 2 dudes have done that in the history of baseball, Ruth and Shohei. And right now, Shohei's doing it, and he's starting, and he's hitting later in his career.
Yeah.
The Ruth pitched and hit into his career.
That's right.
It's Shohei.
Yes.
It's Shohei.
Yes.
It is.
He's leaving everybody in the dust, including George Herman.
Quick thoughts on Shohei Ohtani. Looked dominant first double-digit strikeout game of the season. Did give up a run, but I heard you talking about the velocity bands and being able to go from 97 to triple digits and not going to those clubs every single pitch, but just how different is it for Shohei knowing that, hey, there's going to be a speed difference on his four-seam and I can reach back and go there when I need to?
I don't understand why more pitchers don't do this, because it is a nightmare for the hitter, because it's almost like he has 10 pitches now. When he throws his fastball at 94, then he throws it at 98, then he throws a split, then he throws a curveball, then he throws a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. I just saw 5, 6 different speeds of pitches. That's so hard for a hitter to deal with. And Shohei, being a hitter himself, he knows that. So, for guys being max effort every pitch, I get a gauge, okay, his fastball is 97, click. Okay, I got that. Curveball, it's going to be at 83, got that. And then he's got a changeup. Those are 3 speeds I'll have to worry about. With Shohei, him being a pitcher, varying his speeds on his breaking ball. He'll throw the breaking ball, then he throws a slower breaking ball. He'll throw a fastball, then he'll hump up. It is so difficult, and that's why he's having so much success as a pitcher. And I love him, watching him now, as opposed to when he was with the Angels. Now, he was still great there with the Angels. But I think now he's so matured, and having that year off and just focusing on hitting, I'm sure he was thinking as a hitter, when I get back on the mound, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it really tough on these hitters. And this is what he's doing, man. And it has been so fun to see. He's got that old school David Cone, Pedro Martinez type of, arsenal but obviously with elite talent as well.
Yeah, he's throwing all those different pitches. He can go to them when one's working on a particular night. Sometimes he'll go to the splitter late in his starts. But really the big topic surrounding Shohei this week is the fact that he did just pitch. And he pitched at an elite level, but he did not hit DH. We talked about rushing. He had the big grand slam, had the big double. Do you like the idea, maybe not every start, but maybe sprinkling a couple in there when you got those stretches where it's like 31 games in 32 days? You say, hey, maybe you're just going to pitch today. You let either Rush or even Smith, other guys DH, even throw Teo in there. There's so many options if you want to play that. Do you like that maybe just as an option for them?
I do. I think maybe he does this three more times where he just focused on pitching. I'm thinking about, let's say if they're in St. Louis in July or August, I don't know when they go to St. Louis, and it's 100 degrees and the humidity is just crazy. I would prefer him just focus on pitching because I'm more worried about keeping him healthy the rest of the year, because you can get dehydrated in that heat, the humidity, and it allows him to kind of take a step back and just focus on pitching, and it can kind of save him a little bit from those violent swings that day. And then he can hit the ground running the next day as that hitter for another week or so. So I'm hoping he does that. I think this will kind of, lengthen his pitching career and allow him to pitch for a long time. Those 3 or 4 days, just like he had, his past start, where he just focused on pitching, I think it will do wonders for him. I think he understands that too.
Do you think that moving him down in the lineup is meaningful, or it's just, hey, it's one at bat, really? If he's batting leadoff, he's batting anyway, right?
It's one at bat.
Yeah.
I don't think he cares. And listen, once you have that at bat in the first inning, you can have multiple at bats where you're leading off the next inning when you're pitching anyway. So I think he likes the idea of knowing he's going to lead off, and he can just go do his thing in that first inning and come right to the bat rack or whatever he needs to get his stuff and go ahead. But again, he needs to be the judge of that. If he feels down the road that, maybe it is a little taxing, I'd prefer hitting third, then I think Show will be honest and let manager Dave Roberts know. And as a teammate of his, hey man, we want to make sure you're ready and comfortable. I'll lead off if you want, and you hit third, which is great. I wouldn't mind Shohei hitting behind me.
Yeah, I think from a showman standpoint too, it looks really cool when you go out there and you pitch and you strike out the side and you don't even have time to go in the dugout and you put all your protective gear and you're spraying your bat and boom, it's your walkout song and boom, you hit a bomb. It's like no one's ever doing that. I always want to ask you this one question about Shohei. You can keep it short just because I know could be a complicated answer. Barry Bonds, best hitter of all time, best left-handed hitter of all time. I'm the biggest Dodgers fan. I'm also pretty objective too, so I'm not going to sit here and say that I think that Shohei's a better hitter than Barry Bonds. I know that's not the case. What do you think is the biggest separator, though, from peak Barry Bonds, even early Barry Bonds, to Shohei as a hitter when he's at his very best?
So we're eliminating Shohei as a pitcher.
Yes. Think 50-50 Shohei doesn't pitch.
Shohei Ohtani to me is the best baseball player I've ever seen. Okay, we forget Barry Bonds, hitter. Now Barry was yelling at me a few years ago when we had him on our podcast. He thinks Tony Gwynn was the best hitter ever, and I'm not going to disagree with Barry. Okay, but I will say this about Barry. And I told Barry this as well. Barry felt to us, all of us big leaguers, like we were the 12-year-old kids. And here comes a 16-year-old coming in, and he's going to bully us on a baseball field. That's what Barry made us feel. Dude, we intentionally walked Barry all the time. And I'd be playing second. He'd be yelling at me, Jerry. And I wouldn't even look at him. He goes, I know you hear me, Jerry. I know you hear me. I know you hear me. Are you guys going to pitch to me? You going to pitch? I go, man, stop hitting home run, and then we'll pitch to you. He would not get a pitch, a series. And then finally he gets one pitch, home run. Bro, again, I've said it. I think Shohei Ohtani is the best baseball player. Shohei Ohtani is Tom Brady and Lawrence Taylor combined. That's what Michael Jordan was. Michael Jordan's the best scorer, best defender, freak athlete in one. Okay? That's what Shohei Ohtani is. But we're just talking about hitter, right? Let's say like Steph Curry, the greatest three-point shooter ever. No question. That's Barry Bonds is the best home run hitter ever. that Barry was out of this world, man.
So is the difference plate discipline though? Is it just laying off?
It's plate discipline, and like they have to pitch to Shohei. They have to pitch to him. You know, we didn't pitch to Barry. That's another thing. If we would have pitched to Barry, and he would have got 700 at bats, I am not kidding. He would have hit 90 to 100 home runs.
I'll give you a crazy.
I'm kidding.
No, I mean, I feel you. I did my two favorite mind-blowing Barry Bonds stats are in 2001. If he played all of his home games at Coors Field, he would have hit 88 home runs, and also that he has 25 more intentional walks as a player than the Rays have had in their franchise history. Like, it's kind of insane that, but yeah, Shohei's the greatest of all time. I mean, there's like, as great as Barry is, there's a higher chance that we'll see another Barry Bonds than there will be another Shohei Ohtani. You agree with that? Feel free to disagree. Producers love when you disagree. I'll tell you that.
That's tough right there, man. And you got to remember, listen, there's stuff that went on back then. Okay, that went on back then, but there are a lot of guys doing it too. They weren't Barry Bonds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll just say that. Okay, so Barry as just a hitter, man, I ain't never seen anything like that, dude. I could talk an hour about Barry. Dusty Baker gave me so many great stories. Dusty Baker would tell me that Barry would come in, hey, Bake, I'm tired, man. He goes, they're in Colorado. He goes, bro, you own this guy. You had like 7 home runs off this guy and like 10 at bats. Yeah, but I'm tired. He goes, why don't you just take BP off? You don't have to hit in the cage. He just tired, whatever, sitting in the locker. Oh, game starts, gets up, he's hitting third, does that, then he takes a swing, one pitch ball, next pitch homer, 500 feet. And Dusty's like, bro, this guy didn't want to, he was tired. He can go today. And he goes 2 for 2 with 3 walks and 2 home runs.
Now, he was on another planet. I will say, though, Shohei Ohtani would hit bombs off of Barry Bonds. And I don't know how many bombs that Barry would have with Shohei. Probably a couple, but not as many. Not as many.
but that's the difference. Okay. It's unfair because that's why we're talking about the player. You know, now Barry was a great defensive player too. And he stole bases. He was a great all-around player. I'm not saying that. But it's something to be said. This dude's pitching on the mound, striking out 10 and hitting 3 home runs in the NLCS to win the NLCS. Come on, man. That's not even.
That's a great point. The defining game.
That's why we had this conversation with my boys. He goes, he's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan averaged 35, 37 points a game, and he was the defensive player of the year. Like, that's Shohei Ohtani. You know, it's just unbelievable, man.
It's incredible stuff, man. Honestly.
He has his own category.